Welcome back to another video, guys. My name is Chief Pat, and today, bringing you guys the end of the most recent clan war we had inside of the Clashtronauts. So if you take a look at this war against Area BR War, it actually was a 15 versus 15 clan war, and with an hour left, it was all tied up at 35 to 35, with only a couple of attacks left. So we had 5 attacks left. 2 of them were from our bottom player, number 15, who's a Town Hall 9, and they really weren't useful to us. So pretty much we had 3 attacks left versus their 1 attack left, but they did have the advantage as far as total destruction percentage went. So in order to put this war out of reach, we needed 2 more stars to seal the victory. So let's go ahead and do a couple of attacks and see if we can take some people out. I have 2 of our remaining Town Hall 11 attacks, and then Juan G is our other member who had 1 attack left. But I wanted to get 2 stars with my remaining attacks just so I could put the war out of reach and give us yet another victory. I think we're at 215 victories right now, somewhere like that. But taking a look at this Town Hall 10, it's already been 2-starred, which means I have to 3-star it in order to get us any more stars. And I'm going to go ahead and attack it using 4 jump spells in some of the spots I was highlighting earlier. So 2 jump spells in the very beginning by those Dark Elixir drills, as well as 2 jump spells on the left and the right hand side to open up the base. You can see I'm using 3 golems, 8 witches, as well as a golem inside of the clan castle. And let's go ahead and see if we can take this guy out. Now, if you take a look at his wizard tower, some of them are level 7, which means that my skeletons will still be able to survive 2 shots if they're inside of the Grand Aura. And let's just go ahead and attack this guy's base. I'm going to start off with the Earthquake spell inside of my clan castle, and then start dropping some of my golems, my wizards, my Grand Warden, and make our way into the base. So I wanted to make sure I took care of some of these buildings before I dropped the jump spells. The jump spells just went down right now. Troops are looking pretty good. And so far, so good for this raid. It looks like we haven't run into any giant bombs just yet, which is really what I'm worried about more than anything. But now, just take a look at my Grand Warden. My Grand Warden goes off to the right, and I see a giant bomb right underneath those balloons. So my first reaction was to click my Grand Warden's ability to negate that giant bomb. But it turns out my Grand Warden wasn't close enough to that giant bomb, so it really didn't affect any of those troops, and most of them end up dying anyways. At that point, I thought I was in a lot of trouble, but it turns out it only killed maybe a few witches, as well as a few wizards, which really isn't too big of a deal. As long as I have all of those witches left, which are still in the very center, I should be okay. So crisis averted right there, even though that Eternal Tome definitely didn't go as planned because I thought my Grand Warden was hanging out with the rest of my troops as he should have been. But anyways, we're already at 56, 58, 59%, and we're storming our way through the base. I'm going to use some wall breakers to distract that archer tower while my wizards take it out on the left-hand side. But as you guys can tell, I still have a ton of witches left just pounding down on the rest of the base. There's only 1 wizard tower left, as well as that 1 mortar right there. So this one is pretty much as good as gone, seeing as I have my queen's ability left, and things are looking pretty amazing. The only thing that could really stop me right now would be the skeletons just being an idiot. It would take a miracle to stop me right now. I'm going to go ahead and pop my queen's ability because this raid is as good as over, and that's going to go ahead and give us our 36th star inside of this clan war. And while that's pretty good, they still have the destruction percentage tiebreaker, and this base had been, I believe, like 90% 2-starred before I attack it, so I don't think we have the tiebreaker yet going into this next battle. So I need to make sure that I at least get a high percentage 2-star on one of these next raids, or that I can get 3 stars, and that'll put the war out of reach for good. So for the rest of the base, I still have a minute and a half left. Troops are making their way around. Queen's going to shoot over the top. That's going to go ahead and give us that 3rd star, and again, 1 extra star towards the end of this war. Pretty good stuff. Looks like we got a 470,000 bonus for Golden Elixir. Clan's pretty excited about that 3-star as well. And yeah, we took a lead going into the last hour, and only a little bit of time left before this war was over. Again, their number 1 player still has an attack, so I knew that the war wasn't over yet, as well as when you look at total destruction percentage, we're actually at 77.2%, whereas they are still at 78%. So I'm going to go ahead and try to attack this next base right here and try to put this war out of reach. If I can 3-star this base, this war is all but over. So let's go ahead and check it out and see what we can do. So the wizard towers are pretty spread apart. Taking a look at those guys, they are level 8, so they will be able to one-shot my skeletons. So this one should be a little bit more of a challenge. I'm going to go ahead and drop those jump spells on the 2 spots that I indicated right there. Another jump spell by this expo right here, and then another jump spell on top of that town hall. I did like maybe 5 minutes of planning before this attack, just to figure out where I wanted to put my jump spells. And putting them in those locations should give me a pretty decent shot of covering the entire base. And I'm going to go ahead and use pretty much the same exact army composition as I did before. Except I took out the wall breakers and I added in some more wizards because I really didn't need those wall breakers inside of the last raid. It was more or less just what I use when I'm doing multiplayer matchmaking, but I can actually just get by with 4 jump spells against these Town Hall 10s, and let's go ahead and try it out against this guy right here. All right, so taking a look at where we want to drop our Earthquake spell, I'm going to go ahead and drop it on that Town Hall as well as the Mortar and the Wizard Tower. I want to make sure I take those guys out. And the most important part of this raid is that I don't get any of my witches killed by the Mortar and the Wizard Tower on the bottom, on the right or on the bottom hand side. If I can take those guys out with no casualties, I think we'll be in a really good spot. So let's just go ahead and start dropping some of our troops as well as our jump spells. And we're finally making our way into the bottom right hand corner of this base. So obviously all my heroes are coming in from the bottom hand side, so that side matters a little bit more to me than most of my troops on the right hand side, but still, gonna go ahead and pop my Grand Warden's ability to save some of my troops from that giant bomb right there, or it looks like it was a pair of giant bombs, and now we're making some good progress into the rest of the base. And since those giant bombs were there, I'm just gonna guess that the same set of giant bombs will be on the top left hand side, so I might not have to worry about those for the rest of the raid. Sitting at 37%, my final 2 jump spells have been dropped in the places that I talked about earlier, and seeing as that giant bomb just went off on the top right hand side, things are looking really good for this raid so far. I still have my King's ability, I still have my Queen's ability, as well as 2 archers, which I can use to clean up some buildings on the outside of the base, maybe try to redirect my troops if it can work, but probably not because the archers are too slow in taking out any of the buildings. Looks like things are good so far. My King's ability has already been used, and I'm holding on to the Queen as long as I can until I know this is going to be a guaranteed 3-star. I've seen crazier stuff happen where giant bombs or my skeletons get distracted attacking walls, if you guys have seen that inside of my Journey to Legend series, so I'm not going to waste my Queen's ability just yet. And it still looks like things are pretty good heading into the final 2 splash damage buildings, which are going to be the Mortar and the Wizard Tower right there. All right, so Queen's going to shoot over the wall in just a second, take out that mortar, which means we only have the Tesla, cannons, and archer tower left. And at this point, I know it's pretty much a 3-star guaranteed. So after those double giant bombs go off, like I predicted a little bit earlier on the top left-hand side of the base, I can go ahead and pop my Queen's ability, and that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this Town Hall 10 3-star right here. So pretty awesome stuff. That final cannon's going to go down in a second. I was really holding on to that Queen's ability because I didn't want to waste it at any point in the raid. That's going to be the 3-star to put us over the top and end up winning this war. And yeah, pretty awesome stuff finishing off these raids. It's always a good feeling when you're able to clutch it for your clan and get those last couple of stars. I know that I've had some fails recently. I think maybe 3 weeks ago, I had this really bad fail that ended up costing us in one of the wars. So it's nice to turn it around for this one and not have any drama going into the final couple of seconds. So that's going to be a 3-star against, it looks like Supercell 101 or something like that. And that's going to give us our 37th star and ultimately the clan war victory versus Area BR War. So awesome stuff. Always feels good to be one of the heroes. Of course, the rest of my clanmates did an amazing job with the rest of the map. You can see everything was 2-starred for Town Hall 11s, and a lot of the Town Hall 10s were 3-starred, as well as, of course, all of the Town Hall 9s were 3-starred. Taking a look at our bases, the Witcher does have 1-star on his, so if they're able to 3-star the Witcher's base, then theoretically they would have had a shot to win. But spoiler alert, he didn't end up getting 2 stars against that base, so the final score, 37-35 for the Clashtronauts, and overall a pretty amazing war for us. So that's going to do it for this episode. If you guys like seeing these war attacks, usually I do the cleanups for my clan. If you guys want me to post some more of these, let me know with a comment in the comment section below. I'm going to keep pushing towards Legend League on this account. The clouds have actually been pretty awful, so we need to try to make it there as soon as we can with the league resetting tomorrow. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, I will see you guys later. Peace out.